Hi guys! Happy New Year! Jake and Marisa back again for more live reactions to
Kaitou, Sentai, Lupinranger.
This is Keisatsu, Sentai, Patranger.
Pew pew, pew 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 pew.
Yeah, I know New Year's was a week ago.
But there was no Lupinranger.
So I've just had these sitting around.
We sat down on the couch, we had the camera out, we go to pull up Lupinranger, and there isn't one.
I really need to remember to check these things in advance more often. So we're back after a week off. I looked around to see if I could find something that would fit cleanly in a half an hour, but I wasn't able to find anything.
Yeah, and even that 40-minute movie, we couldn't find it anywhere online.
Yeah. They were like, I was thinking, okay, maybe if we could, watch something that is, if we could watch like a Q Ranger or Lupinranger versus Patranger movie, that's like, 40 minutes. I thought maybe that might work, but I couldn't find those readily available.
Not on short notice.
Yeah, not
like, we needed to find it right away, because it was nighttime on Tuesday, and we put them out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There was just no time. We were just
I couldn't
we
find
give up,
anything.
we're going to bed.
Because you worked on New Year's Day.
Yes, I did.
So there was no filming until evening.
I'm essential personnel.
Yeah. So that
that means I get to drive in snowstorms.
I'll try to keep my eyes open to see if there's something else that we can use as a placeholder the next time that a week gets skipped.
And if I was in the government, I'd be working without pay right now.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm not.
If you guys have any requests, we might take those under advisement.
Still being paid.
Yep. So yeah. So that's why no videos last week, with the exception of my New Year's wrap up. But we're back this week.
Hi.
Hey. Power Reviews 87 is coming along rather well.
We were just filming some of it.
Yep, we were just taking care of a few pickup shots.
What's really funny is after we took
the
shot,
voiceovers,
finished the shot, you're like, oh, by the way, your fingernails were never in shot.
Yeah, although that was actually for 88.
Fair enough. But I painted them all up and everything tonight, and then it turned out they weren't in the frame.
At this point, I just need to actually get just 3 of the actors for like half a dozen pickup shots. Most of everything else is shot.
Some of them are going to be the ones.
A few people have been sick, and
were supposed to
a few people were out of the country. What was that?
Some of them are going to be next Saturday because the one person thought they were next Saturday and didn't.
Well, that's Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday, but that's for 88 through 90.
Oh, that's also for 88 through 90.
No.
What do you need for 87?
I 3 people. None of the people who I got the stuff I needed from those 2.
Huh.
But yeah, 2 of them were sick. 1 was out of the country for the holidays. So it's one of those things that I just haven't had a chance to meet up with them. So hopefully we'll be able to get that straightened out in the next week, which would keep things on track for still releasing 87 this month.
This table is real wood.
Yes, it is. So I will, once I have things straightened out with those pickup shots, then I will release a trailer with an announcement date for 87.
I was like, I think the heat's going on. No, that's the neighbor's shower.
Oh, okay. Right now, the effects are coming along rather well.
Oh, yeah. I saw one of them yesterday when I came home from my second job.
And yeah, so
if anybody thinks we're making a lot of money off this YouTube channel...
Yeah, no. But yeah, the final sequence for, or not the final sequence, one of the major effect sequences is coming together really nicely over these last few days, and hopefully I'll have that done and the next sequence, I'll have that done by the end of the week, and then can work on the other major sequence next week once I have the last bits of footage, and maybe a week or so after that, hopefully, we might actually be able to release 87, because I'm getting back into classes. next week, so that's going to take away my time again a little bit.
And the kids are back at school.
My students are returning this week, so that's a thing. So, so I'm trying to take advantage of these last few days before things pick back up again, like my school books arrive in the mail and things like that.
Yeah, you got those all ordered. How much did you save?
I think I spent like 40% of the actual price in the bookstore or something like that.
My husband is amazingly frugal.
It's just, you Google.
He's so good at it.
I try. Oh, and I do finally, because I realized that...
He's a very successful bargain hunter.
I realized that we recorded this before. I do now have my own replacement car. That finally happened.
That's true. You bought your very own car.
Yes, I finally purchased a car. I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, I mean, we were waffling for a while there. There was that other one that we almost got, but you really weren't happy.
I wasn't comfortable with what they were asking for.
This one you were really happy with.
Yeah, yeah. The other one it was close.
It was a great car. It was very close. But it was not a great price.
It wasn't the right price. And this one was.
This one was
what was right in the range that I was looking for. So I'm very pleased with all that.
It's almost exactly the same car as the other one, but for way cheaper.
Yeah, yeah. Significant margin. And it was within the range that I worked myself to after assessing like budgets, etc., etc.
We had a little bit of a scare with it this morning.
Yeah. I thought that something went wrong with the starter, and it turns out it just wasn't in gear properly.
You have to be all the way in park to start the car.
I thought I was, but apparently I was just on really level ground, so it hadn't settled into park. And I didn't think to try shifting into neutral or whatever.
I did something today in a car for the first time in a while.
What's up?
So when I came out of...
Is this a story?
A very short one. When I came out of one of the places I was going today on the errands I was doing with my other job,
yeah,
there was egg on the hood of my car.
Really?
Really.
That's awful.
Yeah, my client noticed, and I was just like, do you mind if we quickly detour to the car wash?
Yeah, no, I got that on one of my cars. I was driving and got an egg landed on my car. I don't know where that came from. That was like 10 years ago.
And so, yeah, we went to the car wash, and I had one of those slips for a free exterior car wash.
Yeah.
And I haven't had an exterior-only car wash in a very long time. They've changed the way they do it at our car wash.
Okay.
You get to ride through now.
Oh, fun.
I rode through the car wash.
All right. So, enough of that. Let's get to some pew-pews with episode 46 of
Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger
versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger, an Inescapable Game.
Ooh.
Let's see if this will actually do the thing. There it goes. Oh, come back. Oh, now you're doing the drag thing again? No, don't do the drag thing. Why are you doing the drag thing? We'd beaten this, and now you're doing it again. There you go, magical sound.
Ooh, one of those temples.
Hey, goody.
With the...
Your shrine visit of the New Year. Great.
Happy New Year!
There we go.
Umika ina yukata.
Very cute.
Oh! Try not smacking Toma.
Yeah. Everybody else is just kind of wearing their usual outfits. But she's nicely dressed up.
Well, she said since Noelle asked. I think he wanted to see traditional dress.
We got a gangler at the shrine?
Probably.
Oh! It's modified Portman.
Safe head Portman.
It's a safe head Portman with red armor instead of blue.
And a necktie. Oh no, they all have neckties. And a white necktie.
Yeah. That was super cute. You may not be dressed like it, but we're the thieves everybody's talking about.
Thief? Uh-oh.
What just happened?
Goody tried to save them for whatever it is.
This modified Porterman just...
They're stuck in a game show!
Okay, sure, why not? That's good. And she went through all the trouble of picking out that outfit.
Was that a full kimono? She wanted the kimono. Yukata subset. Gold, silver, or a pearl?
Interesting. I guess they do that
I aced the pose again.
instead of bronze. That's right, just because since he's modified, he does have access to a collection piece. Oh. It's a party piece. Yeah, sure, that seems fair. Beat the 5 challenges and you're good. Otherwise, you're stuck there forever.
We still haven't sung.
Oh yeah. Sure.
I pulled up my phone to check out if
that's
you knew that was a type of kimono.
Oh dear.
Kiss my hiney. Kancho.
The game begins. Mysterious treasures left by the phantom thief Austin Lupin, known as the Lupin Collection, have been stolen by the ganglers, the thieves who fight to recover what they've lost, the police who fight to protect world peace. Whose side are you on? Yami no nakade Futekini wa aru silhouette Kono shutai Chiritakyere, catch me if you can. Destiny Yokoku Seru Honto no Nuchi wo Ikai suru mono dake ni Hikari anatsu Mongai Fushutsu no collection. Lupin, Karenimau, gonna chase you up. Ubake Yesu, Ushinai Shitoku wo Tokosutame, Dairu Mawase. Lupin, Sametakuru, chase you up. Yatsurani Adu, Azayaka Niya, Lupin Rangers. It's showdown.
It's a casual summer kimono, so yes.
Okay. Oh, interesting choice for New Year's. Oh, right.
You got that. Maybe
Keiichiro wants to talk about his deduction that he should have made half a season ago. Or did make. Well, Tsukasa made it before. Yeah. Why are you shocked? What? Well, you knew about all this, though. We went over this like 35 episodes ago.
Wait, there's more than you think. There's something Noelle once said.
Okay. Okay, so that's the piece. That's the new piece of information. Okay, so there was that element there that finally connected for.
Pulling the challenges out of this box.
Okay. Needs to do impersonations. What is he gonna do? Keiichiro? Oh, Toma. Wow. Really? What is happening? happy about this. He chickened out. Oh, man. Oof.
Toma, you jerk!
Chuck wash pins on. That's a little strange. Alright, Noel, go for it. There we go. Keijiro. I'm a kid. There you go. You gotta give him respect for that. Yes, it was. That's what Ichigo. Yeah.
I guess he makes that kind of impression on people.
Yep. Nobody can deny that. Oh yeah, this is full on clip show. He likes working with the Patrangers.
Yeah, they fight as one. Sometimes they become one body.
Yep.
Oh, look, there they are.
There you go. That's cute. Yeah, most of the time, yeah, it would be better if they stayed out of the way. Now, okay, so all the pieces are finally falling into place. Okay, so this, I know we were tough on Keitaro last time, and this is really going a long way to mitigating that. Something about this picture. Fumiko. Oh, right. Shoot, they recognized the young children from when they got turned into kids. Okay, this is actually really great. They are putting together actually a bunch of clues. This is much better. Oh, she's melting down right now.
Well, she had Kaitou on her lap.
Yeah. Wow. She overheated from that one.
Well, she probably feels a little violated.
Yeah. Something that was painful, tracking down the multiple Kogares. Fair enough. Oh, hey, it has to be painful, not just stupid. Oh, that's fair.
Oh.
That was painful for them. The Lupin Magnum trial where they had to shoot their loved ones. Yeah, that was tough. The big stride.
It is actually kind of an appropriate use of a clip show. I mean, these guys are doing a game show. But meanwhile, on the Patranger side, their clip show is all about figuring out who the Lupins are.
I agree. This is a very good structure for a clip show, actually.
The game show part's a little hokey, but the
we've
Patranger side
been through this
is...
before. Yeah. But actually using it to finally put pieces together, that is a proper use of a clip show. Okay, at this point, okay. So there are also the fight with Destra. Yeah, that one.
That's why when you were in the Gangler world with Toma, only Lupins red and yellow showed up.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, Destro was super tough.
Ooh,
oh, hello.
this is the present.
Wait. Zamigo is actually meeting up with Dograni. Yeah, Zamigo does not want to be in charge.
Sorry, dude, that makes me smarter than you.
Ouch. That was a bird. This tournament is actually surprisingly even-handed in all this.
There's a Mr. Pan plushie.
Wow. Alright, so what's the special ability here?
Whee! Fail. That's not a hidden talent. Everyone knows you can do that.
That fails. Nice.
Whoever does it first fails every time.
Do you not realize it's how you always fight?
That's what I said, that is not a secret.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. But, yeah. I like how, at this point, like, each of them have taken a turn getting smacked with the wash bin. Oh, what, her fashion skills? Oh, wow. Yep. I think I remember seeing this in the preview. And I suppose I shouldn't be terribly surprised because oh, goody. That's adorable. Because I feel like I feel like this is you'd be able to hang out with Miss Coach. Is that a good thing? There, yeah. You know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm actually kind of surprised it took this long for the Lupinrangers to go and track. It seemed to pop it up a fair bit in Sentai. There we go. Yep. Kyrie was at the Gangler Club. Toma knew how to handle a gun. Yep. All the pieces. I like that they're actually talking this out. He's like, dude, they got alibis because they remember that. Oh, they're recognizing, they're putting together the pieces that there could have been disguise involved. Which makes sense when you remember the, oh, this is nice. This is really, this is them doing actual, like, deductive reasoning. Oh, I'm so pleased that this is sort of shaken out this way. Yes, Saki doesn't want to believe that he got suckered. Prize belongings. Has this all been... I'm going to give so much respect to this Porterman if this has all been a play just to get those pieces of the collection, because that would be super clever. Hey, goody. You love to pop into narrations every now and again, don't you?
Stretchy.
Yeah, with the crane.
Yeah, but did you see Goody stretch?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, pretty snazzy. But yeah, this sort of juxtaposition of two different clip shows is actually a really nice and clever way to handle a clip show. And it makes perfect sense within the structure of this show as being a two Sentai, a double Sentai kind of show. A double clip show makes perfect sense.
The two completely separate wraparound premises.
Yeah. I kind of wish that there was more of this sort of thing in the series where they actually had these sort of double plot kind of episodes.
Yeah, parallel plots.
Yeah. I mean, taking turns is cool too, but parallel plots, I think it would have been nice to see a little bit more of that this year. Nice little quick run through of all of the different formations that I have legit lost track of some of them over time.
君たちにとっても紛れもない宝物じゃないかな。確かに。その通り。
Yeah, there's the moment. Yeah. It was all the trick to get the treasure. Yeah. Yeah. Kudos to that Porterman. He played the fool very well.
He was after.
Very nice.
Goodies with them.
Oh, right. Okay, so apparently the oh, nice. Goodies gotta save the day.
Gotcha!
Oh, he actually forced him into the pose. Wow. Kudos, Goody. Kudos. That took style and effort. Yeah, they're already knocked out. Portermen are not super competent, generally speaking. Except for you, sir. You did very well. You just underestimated a good striker. That was literally the only part. That was your downfall.
Ooh.
It's like, here you are, very good there. Oh, that's cute. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
That's one of the Time Force cryo canisters.
Oh.
Except shrunken down in miniature and recolored. Which is great for for something that traps you in a box.
Sure is.
Whoa, super.
Oh, here's a connection that the Patrangers haven't made yet.
Oh, the fact that
Noelle is really chummy with the juror people.
Yeah, exactly. My mom asked me to
do the shopping.
Really? Yeah, dude, you're toast. Yep, this is really bad for you. Hey, you know what? For a Porterman, you did great. I cannot overstate that. You did a great job.
コレクションゲットできたし、いいんじゃね？僕はちょっと楽しかったよ。 アルセーヌの思い出をたどれたみたいで。ありがちゅ。これは返さなくていいわ。え？気づいたんだよ。金色金庫が出たらバックルだけじゃ足んないだろ。
Yeah, that's a good point. It's good for him to have a backup. And I believe they all have their own backups at this point. They have enough dial fighters to go around. Because we got what? We got Magic, we got Cyclone, Victory.
You're about to have not great wishes.
Okay.
Splash. Alright. Sakia, what's up? I don't want to believe that they've been fighting evil and helping us in battle. I can't imagine. Keiichiro is surprisingly calm about all this. Whoa.
Pardon me.
Nice. Little mini Saba and Lion Firestar. These little Lupin collection pieces are always cute.
Name your price.
That's interesting.
Japanese can't say no for money.
Okay, okay. Important to note that cultural hand symbols are different. Oh, they're going up against Amigo again.
What I can do right now.
Alright.
I think it's going to come down to the Lupins having to decide whether they want to save the Patrangers or protect their identities.
That's what it's looking like. And so we're at that point. I mean,
We're pretty late in the series.
you know, that was 46, and we got what, maybe 5 episodes left. I'm not sure exactly where this season is ending, but we're getting close.
Yeah, we are.
I
love this
actually
premise.
probably more like 4. Yeah, this was a good clip show. It
And
reminds
when the
me
Portman
of
turned out to be trying to steal their stuff, even that one actually worked out.
When I saw it, I'm like, oh, is the Portman going to be clever enough to do that? Oh, nice,
yeah,
he was.
he is.
Good for him. Like, he really did a good job playing the fool.
A very good job.
And I really like that he played into that so hard. Because I was thinking throughout this, like, is he really going to play by the rules and just, let them, win these trials? Because he seems to be going along with it really well. Is he really that good-natured? And then on that challenge, I'm like, oh, is this all a play?
Yeah.
I wonder if this is all a play. I don't know if they're gonna. They went that way, and I'm glad they went that way. This also really did a lot to redeem the Patrangers by actually giving them. I felt like last episode's Eureka moment for Keiichiro was really mishandled, and we harped on that.
But
with the added context
that
here,
he had put that together only after, because this time he went into it knowing what Noelle said about getting our loved ones back.
Yeah, the fact that
the first time they found out about that, it was easy for them to forget about it because it didn't have any context.
Right. And the fact that that Noelle's statement provided him with the motivation of the Lupinrangers, and that was used to determine their identities, I think that makes it all make a lot more sense.
And, to their credit, once the pieces started falling into place...
And they were able to recall a bunch of different pieces.
A bunch.
And they were all things that, in isolation, wouldn't necessarily prove anything one way or another, but in context, and you know how much I love context, everything came together. So I really like that they did a very good job placing all these different, sort of standalone episodes in context. Oh yeah, Oliver's just asleep on the other couch right now, and he's super adorable. His face is just like smooshed up like there. I'm a little surprised the Porterman didn't get resurrected. Oh wait, yeah, no, he didn't.
He didn't. But
yeah.
The thing of it is that I don't think we needed that extra. I think
we didn't.
That's actually a good reason to use a Porterman instead of a main monster, because if a main monster, if a proper monster did not get it blown up to big size, that would be breaking from pattern and it would be really jarring. But a modified Porterman going down after just one seems okay.
Yeah. Although we have seen them fight giant modified Portermen.
We have.
It just seems like Ghosh had other priorities going on.
She did.
I don't know what she was doing with the little Saba and Lion Fire Power Star, whatever their
Maybe she was cooking up her next modified Porterman.
Something.
Where did she get the safe for that one?
I don't know. Just off of other ganglers that she's basically cannibalized.
Yeah.
She's clearly been like cannibalizing.
She's a gangler serial killer. She kills other ganglers.
And I'm starting to wonder if they might just be running out of ganglers at this point, because we saw Negranio talking with Zamigo like, "Hey, dude, do you want the job?" Because I get the impression Zamigo is kind of getting to the point of he's being the last man standing. The next episode looks to be very much Ghosh and Zamigo. Mm-hmm. So we might actually be out of monsters now.
We're going to see what that job is he has for her.
Yeah. Which means that, considering how late we are in the game, outside of the modified Porterman, it's possible that our last one was the evil salmon that replaced all the chicken with salmon. But I'm willing to bet Ghosh has at least one more experiment.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
it could be an experiment on Zamigo.
I was going to say maybe Zamigo wants some extra safes.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you Boku bucks to give me some extra safes.
Yeah. I like how the Lupinrangers being turned into children was so relevant, because it was the second instance of Kogure using his disguise technique.
Right, and the picture of child Umika
revealed that, those children were...
Umiko-chan was Umika!
Exactly. And that's great that they remember
how they
all these little plot points.
BS changer out of the desk.
Yeah. And beyond that, it really... This episode, which is really rare for a clip show. We talked back during Q Ranger how much we liked their sort of fourth wall breaking clip show.
I don't know, Jake. I'm starting to think that maybe Sentai just does clip shows better.
Well, true. I'm getting that impression as well. I'm having trouble remembering if Go Busters had a clip show.
I don't remember.
I'm not recalling one. I could be mistaken.
I'm going to guess that if they did, the premise was so good we forgot it was a clip show.
They also just had a bit of a smaller cast. That probably makes it a little easier to budget-wise, I imagine. But this was a very strong clip show in that it took a bunch of different pieces of the show and put them all in context with each other to make the show feel a lot more coherent.
Mm-hmm. And that's something we've been saying for a while now, is that it feels like a bunch of
disconnected adventures.
But they put them together.
In a good way. Now, that didn't necessarily apply to every episode. We didn't necessarily really... For instance, the Jazzercise episode, while hilarious, was not really that plot relevant, even though they referenced it in this episode, which was cute.
Just what exactly are you?
That was arguably the funniest episode of the season.
Absolutely.
That and the
chicken salmon.
Christmas means chicken and chicken means Christmas. It was just ridiculous. We've had some very good comedy episodes. I can't believe they even did a callback to the Patranger gender swap episode. Like, I wasn't expecting that to get a callback. So they did a real good sort of organic callback for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, none of it felt forced or anything.
Or at the very...
Even on the weird game show side.
The weird game show...
And weird game shows can go so wrong!
The game show felt
a
little forced. Yeah, Don't Blow Your Dough is just felt like a non-episode, just because there was nothing about that setup really
But
worked.
because the monster wasn't invoking the past, he was asking them to do things that were unrelated to that, and they happened to come up with it.
I mean, he did invoke the past a little bit.
He asked someone to do an impression.
Where he was...
when he asked what was a hard thing.
Yeah.
Fine.
What was painful recently. Right. And, little thing, his little challenges, and it only felt a little contrived, and then you realize, oh, it's intentionally contrived to lure them into a false sense of security, and that was handled really well. This was probably, like, we've seen the sort of...
I loved when Noelle did all the flips across the stage, and I'm sitting here going, that's not a secret.
Yeah, it's not a secret. It's not a hidden talent.
Not a hidden talent. Everyone knows about that. We were just, we were having all the Noelle parkour jokes that one episode. And we all know you can parkour, Noelle.
And you know what? I'm not. I'm actually more. I'm more surprised. I'm surprised not that we got the Lupinrangers in drag in this episode, but that it took this long for us to see the Lupinrangers in drag. Because at this point, I think we've picked up that that's something of a common trope.
Noelle makes the prettiest girl.
And consider, you know what? I'm not gonna argue with you on that, because you know what, he's on top of everything else, just the body language really sells it too.
Well,
kudos
he's
to him on
very
that.
camp even when he's him.
Exactly, it works very well.
He didn't have that thing that the other two had where they were like, I'm in a dress, help. Noelle was rolling with it. He was just like, I'm the prettiest. And a lot of it's in the attitude.
I'll give Umika credit. She did style them to their personalities, I think,
she
quite
did.
well. She
Toma
was very talented.
Toma, you know what he reminded me of?
He was very...
Joanne from Company. The one that sings the Ladies Who Lunch.
Ladies Who Lunch? Yeah, I could see that. The socialite type.
The jaded, cynical socialite.
Yeah, and that worked very well for him. So Umika, you need to... I've never watched RuPaul's Drag Race or America's Next Top Model or whatever... Project One Runway. That's it. That's the one that she needs to.
No,
do.
she should be doing RuPaul's Drag Race.
Well, the thing is, that's for the actual drag queens, I believe.
Fair enough.
I've never seen it. I just know that it's a show that exists.
But Project Runway doesn't usually involve dressing guys as girls.
True, but she's shown that she has high fashion talent there. So kudos to you, Umika. When this is all said and done, you're going to live your dream.
She is.
So yeah, it's so weird to praise a clip show, but we've had so many rough ones through Power Rangers and through other shows that you watch. You're so used to clip shows being a rougher show.
You're used to clip show being bad by default.
Generally speaking. This one, because they leaned so much into so much fun with the game show, they really made that work, and they juxtaposed it really, really well with the investigation sort of roundup with the Patrangers, which is the most cop-like I've seen them pretty much ever be. Like, Keiichiro was, like, dispassionate in his judgment. What was that? It's like, Keiichiro, you're being really reasonable right now, and it's kind of freaking me out.
You're scaring me.
Like, I like that it was a demonstration of character growth, though.
He tucked his head in and put his paw over his face and nose.
Yeah, he did. Now, as I noted before, Oliver was like, no, he's got this going on. But yeah, I feel like the Patrangers were being, like, the team we wanted them to be.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, in an episode where they don't fight anyone. And they were totally B-plot.
I love how
it works
the
really
successful imitation was Noelle doing, I'm a cop!
I'm a kid!
Oh, we startled poor Oliver.
Oh, sorry, Allie. He just went...
steam coming out of his
That
nose!
was perfect. That was perfect. Dead on, and
then Tom was going, even the Porterman's laughing at that.
And I also liked how they played things up in just such a way that you could kind of believe that the Porterman would go along with some of these things. It's like, you know what? I was going to screw with you guys, but that was a really good impression. Or, okay, you know what? I was going to try and disqualify you guys, but wow, girl, you did some great work with these guys.
Yeah, especially since, you know, the first several challenges, the first person got it wrong every time.
Yeah, and then it would always be something that was just reasonable enough that you could believe they won over the gangler. Saying, you know, Destra was super tough. He's like, oh yeah, that dude scared me. And then we get to the challenge of, so that at that point...
Show me your most prized possessions. You can't just tell me about them. You have to show them to me.
At that point, they had rolled along with it so much
that they didn't even think about it. They're all
should
on the table.
They should have.
These are them, and this is why they're our most prized possessions.
This episode wrote along a really fine line in a lot of respects, where there were just so many little bits where if they hadn't played it just right, I think it would have felt contrived. But they managed to play it just right on every count in this.
So good.
Which I thought worked really well.
Amazing.
And we even got a little acknowledgement on what's going on with the ganglers between Dogranio and Zamigo, which again played into a little bit of what we were talking about the other week with how we wanted to see a little bit more of sort of the mob drama of what's going on between these members of this criminal organization, and we got to see a little bit of that.
We saw some of that mob drama.
It's like, would you be interested in being my successor? He's like,
nah, man.
Nah. Only an idiot would take that job, dude. Sorry.
You know, I have to agree, though, because I have never had any real interest in being the guy on the throne. I will tell you, if it ever came to a situation, and I do a lot of LARPing, where, like, I'm not me, I'm another character in situations where I actually have these kind of opportunities, because in the real world, I don't.
Yeah.
To be the guy behind the guy who's in power, it's a really valid tactic. Because not only are you having a lot of power by influencing the guy who's in power, when people are upset with the guy who's in power, they kill him, you get off scot-free.
Yep.
And then the next guy in power, you step in and you're like, I can be the guy behind you, too.
I somehow,
the guy behind the guy is the one who's really running the show. I
somehow ended up accidentally falling into that role a lot back in college theater. In our theater honor society, there was a role of archivist, and that's I ended up repeatedly getting sort of almost conscripted into that role, like 5 different times. And so even though I kept running for president of the organization and not getting it, and so I basically ended up telling each president how, informing them on various aspects of the job of running the organization because I got the act.
Because you'd been on the committee for so long.
Yeah, because I was the one who, whose job was to be the institutional memory. Now, I did eventually
find someone else willing to take the job.
And I did eventually get elected director at the point when nobody else wanted the job.
Including you!
Including me! I'm like, I'm running a web series now. There's a reason I stopped doing theater. Why are you making me president of this organization right now? That was really funny.
No, I did things like, if anybody's ever played Vampire the Masquerade,
yeah,
be the whip, not the primogen.
Right. So, yeah, kudos to Zamigo on playing it smart. I'm curious to see what, ends up happening between him and Gauche, and what's gonna finally get Degranio into the game? Something's got to happen with him. I don't know what. I'm guessing that they're going to need to go to him. I'm not sure how. And I think it's going to at this point be less about well, once they beat Zumigo, they're going to know that their loved ones are all still alive, is my assumption. At which point, it's going to just be about avenging Arsene Lupin and bringing him back. Mm. That's my assumption at this point.
Hang on, I'll find it in a second.
I could hear it under your bed. So yeah, this this episode reminded me a little bit of Insomnia in SPD. That was the clip show in SPD where they realized that Grum had been collecting pieces for Omni.
Yeah.
But I actually felt like this was better, I think, than that episode in the regards that there were a lot more pieces to the puzzle, and it required a little bit more deductive reasoning, and they came to more of a conclusion. Whereas in Insomnia, they were just all kind of tired, and they were talking about random things, and it turned to Grum and what he was up to, and they got the conclusion that he was up to something. It was very nonspecific, and it was less focused in its delivery, and it was lacking in additional plot lines like this one had, where we had the two parallel clip shows, and I feel like this made strong. Those parallel clip shows, that's something that you don't really generally see, and they played it really well with the two different premises, the two different wraparound stories. What are you trying to?
I am looking for a word. I will find it in a moment.
Okay. Because I'm getting ready to wrap up here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to reference. You know what? Even the sort of obligatory, and let's look at a quick montage of the different Megazords, didn't feel completely out of place like it does in other clip shows, where it's just like, and aren't our Zords cool? And then we see a little montage of all the Zords blowing up monsters, and that's, takes the place of there being a Zord fight. Whereas here it was, show off your most precious possessions, and so they were showing off the collection pieces and making reference to how useful they had been in battle, and so you got to show that off. So
Seneschal!
Still Vampire the Masquerade.
Be the whip,
thing.
not the primogen. Be the seneschal, not the prince.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. So I think
it was gonna bug me all night if I didn't find out.
So I think that wraps things up pretty well then. This was definitely an episode that heightened the series for us. It felt like
so good.
I always feel like when you add a layer of context to multiple disconnected events, it brings a level of intentionality to a series, and it creates a level of rewatch value. It creates a greater investment in the storytelling because you have a greater faith in the writers that they know what they're doing, they know where they're going, and it is going somewhere.
Yes.
Whereas we had felt that it was somewhat meandering for a very long time.
But it's coalescing.
I do like that all these little pieces came together. That being said, there are definitely plot threads that got stretched out that probably didn't need to be stretched out that much. But again, we'll see how those come together in the final episodes. At the very least, this was a very strong showing in taking advantage of a clip show to make it work for their series in a very good way.
It worked so well.
So, all that being said, until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. I'm a cop!
And a queen.
Oh, no, well.